We begin our exploration of Schopenhauer in the modern world by acknowledging a pervasive, often unspoken truth: the alienation of the intelligent individual. This isn't simply a feeling of loneliness. It's a profound disconnect between the inner life of the mind and the relentless demands of contemporary society. Think about it. The pressure to conform, to accumulate, to succeed within a system that often values superficial achievements over genuine intellectual pursuit. How many times have you felt the frustration of a brilliant idea dismissed in a boardroom filled with indifferent faces, or the quiet despair of witnessing profound insights ignored in favor of fleeting trends? This is the modern alienation Schopenhauer, in his own way, predicted. He saw the inherent conflict between the striving will and the limitations of the world, and this manifests acutely in our current age. The relentless pace of modern life, the constant bombardment of information, the pressure to maintain a curated online persona. These factors all contribute to a sense of detachment, a feeling of being adrift in a sea of meaningless activity. The truly intelligent individual, often deeply introspective and attuned to complexities of existence, can find themselves increasingly isolated, even misunderstood. This isn't a condemnation of modern society. It's an observation, and it's a starting point for understanding how Schopenhauer's wisdom can provide a framework for navigating this complex landscape. His philosophy offers not only a diagnosis of this alienation, but also potential antidotes, strategies for finding solace and meaning in a world that often feels indifferent, if not hostile, to intellectual depth. This journey of understanding, of applying Schopenhauer's insights to your life, starts with acknowledging this fundamental disconnect, this modern alienation, and recognizing that you are not alone in experiencing it. This shared experience forms the bedrock of our exploration, the starting point for finding a path toward a more fulfilling and meaningful existence. We will now delve into the nature of this will and how to better understand and manage its demands within our modern context. Now, let's introduce the central concept in Schopenhauer's philosophy: the will. Imagine a boundless, insatiable force, a blind striving that drives all existence, from the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy. This is the will, not the conscious will of our everyday decisions, but a deeper, more fundamental urge towards being, towards constant striving, towards endless pursuit of satisfaction. It's the relentless engine of desire, the source of all our motivations, both grand and mundane. Think of your own desires, the yearning for love, the hunger for success, the craving for security. These are all expressions of the will, manifestations of this fundamental drive. Schopenhauer saw this will not as something inherently good or bad, but as a fundamental aspect of reality, a force that both creates and destroys, propels us forward and simultaneously binds us to suffering. It's a force that relentlessly pushes us towards goals, only to reveal that the attainment of those goals rarely brings lasting fulfillment. The satisfaction is fleeting, the desire returns, and the cycle of striving continues. This understanding is crucial because it provides a framework for understanding the root of much human suffering. We are caught in a ceaseless cycle of desire, constantly striving to fulfill needs that are ultimately insatiable. This isn't a pessimistic view, but rather a realistic assessment of the human condition. Recognizing this inherent striving, this fundamental aspect of the will, is the first step towards understanding our place in the world and finding ways to navigate the inherent challenges of human existence. It's not about suppressing the will entirely. That's impossible. But about understanding its nature and learning to manage its relentless demands. This understanding forms the basis for developing coping mechanisms, for finding moments of peace amidst the constant striving, and for ultimately creating a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. In the following sections, we will explore how to achieve this and how to use this understanding of the will as a tool to navigate the complexities of modern life. Having established the nature of the will as this fundamental driving force, let's examine how it manifests in the superficiality of modern society. The relentless pursuit of external validation, the obsession with material possessions, the constant striving for social media approval. These are all powerful expressions of the will, albeit often misguided ones. Schopenhauer would argue that these pursuits, while seemingly fulfilling, ultimately lead to emptiness and dissatisfaction, particularly for those who value intellectual depth. Consider the individual driven by the need for external validation. They chase likes and comments, striving for fleeting approval, only to find that this affirmation is never truly satisfying. The emptiness remains, the desire persists, and the cycle of seeking continues. This pursuit of superficial achievements, this constant chasing of external validation, is a classic manifestation of the will's insatiable nature. For the intellectually inclined, this disconnect is particularly acute. The profound satisfaction derived from intellectual pursuits, the joy of discovery, the thrill of understanding, is often undervalued in a society that prioritizes immediate gratification and quantifiable success. The individual who dedicates themselves to intellectual exploration might find themselves feeling alienated, their deep insights ignored in favor of superficial trends and shallow achievements. This is where the suffering arises, the conflict between the profound inner world of the mind and the shallow demands of external validation. This isn't to say that material comfort or social connection is inherently bad. Rather, it's a matter of balance. Schopenhauer philosophy encourages us to recognize the limitations of these pursuits as ultimate sources of fulfillment, reminding us to seek deeper, more lasting sources of meaning and satisfaction. Understanding this dynamic allows us to approach our desires with a greater degree of awareness, to choose our pursuits more consciously, and to find a balance between the demands of the will and the pursuit of genuine intellectual and spiritual fulfillment. The key lies in recognizing the inherent limitations of superficiality and cultivating a deeper understanding of our own inner lives. Our next step will be to explore how to achieve this balance. We've established the will as this driving force, this insatiable desire. Now, let's directly confront its inevitable consequence, suffering. Schopenhauer argued that suffering is not an accident or an anomaly, but rather an inherent part of the human condition, a direct result of the will's ceaseless striving. This isn't a bleak pronouncement of despair, but a realistic assessment of our fundamental nature. The suffering arises from the inherent tension between our desires and the limitations of reality. We constantly strive for goals, professional success, romantic love, material wealth, often setting our sights on unattainable ideals. The relentless pursuit of these often illusory goals fuels a cycle of desire, achievement, and subsequent dissatisfaction. The fleeting nature of satisfaction leaves us perpetually wanting, perpetually chasing the next elusive prize. Consider the modern pressures of career advancement, the constant striving for promotions, the relentless competition, the fear of falling behind. These are all manifestations of the will, leading to stress, anxiety, and burnout. Or consider the pressures of social media, where curated perfection creates unrealistic expectations and fuels feelings of inadequacy. The constant comparison to others, the pressure to maintain a flawless online persona, contributes to a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction and anxiety. This isn't about blaming the will. It's about understanding its nature. Schopenhauer's insight lies in recognizing that suffering is not something to be avoided, but rather something to be understood and accepted as an inherent part of the human experience. The key is not to eliminate suffering entirely, that's impossible, but to mitigate it, to find ways to lessen its grip, to cultivate perspective that allows us to navigate the inevitable disappointments of life with greater equanimity. This understanding forms the basis for developing coping mechanisms, for finding moments of peace amidst the constant striving, and for ultimately cultivating a more meaningful existence. We will explore these strategies in the sections that follow, starting with an examination of the role of aesthetics in mitigating the suffering caused by the will. Let's delve deeper into the inherent absurdity of the will's relentless pursuit. We've seen how it drives us towards goals, only to leave us unsatisfied upon their achievement. This creates a cyclical pattern, a Sisyphean struggle where we endlessly push a boulder uphill, only to watch it roll back down again. This constant striving, this ceaseless chasing of fleeting satisfaction, reveals a profound lack of inherent meaning in the pursuit itself. The absurdity lies in the very nature of the will, its insatiable hunger for something that can never truly be attained. This realization can be profoundly unsettling, leading to a sense of existential angst. The intelligent individual, acutely aware of this absurdity, might find themselves grappling with questions of purpose and meaning in a world that seems inherently meaningless. The constant striving, the endless cycle of desire and disappointment, can leave one feeling profoundly alienated, disconnected from a world that offers no inherent justification for the relentless pursuit of the will. Consider the pressures of modern career paths. We dedicate years to climbing the corporate ladder, sacrificing personal time and well-being, only to find that the summit offers little lasting satisfaction. The feeling of accomplishment is fleeting, replaced by the desire for yet another promotion, another achievement. This inherent emptiness is a direct consequence of the will's insatiable nature, a stark reminder of the absurdity of endless striving. This isn't a call to inaction or nihilism. Rather, it's an invitation to confront the absurdity head-on, to acknowledge the lack of inherent meaning in the will's relentless pursuit, and to seek meaning elsewhere. This understanding, this acceptance of the absurdity, can be a liberating experience, paving the way for a more conscious and fulfilling approach to life. In the next sections, we will explore ways to find meaning and purpose amidst this absurdity, focusing on strategies for managing the will's relentless demands and cultivating a life that transcends the cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. The path forward lies not in denying the absurdity, but in accepting it and finding meaning within its confines. The path to navigating the complexities of the will begins with understanding. It's not enough to simply acknowledge its existence. We must actively strive to comprehend its influence on our thoughts, actions, and ultimately our experiences. This self-awareness is a cornerstone of coping with the relentless demands of the will, the crucial first step toward a more fulfilling life. Think of the will as a powerful, often unseen current beneath the surface of our conscious minds. It subtly shapes our desires, directs our actions, and influences our perceptions. Without understanding this current, we are adrift, tossed about by its unpredictable forces. But with awareness, we can begin to navigate its currents, to steer our lives with greater intention and purpose. This self-awareness is not a passive observation. It's an active process of introspection and self-reflection. It involves paying close attention to our own motivations, identifying the underlying desires that drive our actions, and examining the patterns of thought and behavior that stem from the will's influence. This might involve journaling, meditation, or simply taking time for quiet contemplation, reflecting on the sources of our desires and the consequences of our actions. Recognizing the will's influence is not about judging ourselves harshly or suppressing our desires. It's about developing a more nuanced understanding of our own motivations, recognizing the inherent limitations of our desires, and cultivating a more compassionate perspective on the human condition. This self-awareness empowers us to make conscious choices, to align our actions with our values, and to prioritize activities that foster genuine fulfillment rather than merely satisfying the will's insatiable demands. This initial stage of understanding, this crucial self-awareness, is a foundation upon which we can build strategies for managing the will and cultivating a more meaningful existence. From this point forward, we can explore practical techniques for mitigating the suffering caused by the will, strategies that will help us navigate the complexities of modern society with greater equanimity and purpose. Our journey continues with a look at the role of aesthetic experience in finding solace from the will's relentless demands. Having established the importance of understanding the will, let's explore a powerful coping mechanism: detachment. This isn't about emotional coldness or apathy. Rather, it's about cultivating a healthy distance from the relentless demands of the will, recognizing its limitations and accepting its inherent nature. It's about shifting our perspective, moving from a state of frantic grasping to one of mindful observation. Detachment involves recognizing that our desires, while powerful, are ultimately fleeting and unsatisfying. The pursuit of external validation, the craving for material possessions, the relentless striving for achievement. These are all expressions of the will, but they offer only temporary relief, leaving us perpetually wanting more. By cultivating detachment, we can observe these desires without being completely swept away by them. This doesn't mean suppressing our desires or denying their influence. Instead, it's about acknowledging their presence without identifying completely with them. It's about recognizing that we are not our desires, that our identity is not defined by the relentless pursuit of satisfaction. This shift in perspective allows us to experience our desires without being consumed by them, to find a sense of peace amidst the constant striving. Acceptance plays a crucial role in this process. Accepting the inherent limitations of the will, acknowledging the inevitability of suffering, and recognizing the inherent absurdity of the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction These are all crucial steps towards cultivating attachment and finding a sense of peace. This acceptance is not passive resignation. It's an active choice to embrace the reality of our existence, to find meaning and purpose not in a relentless pursuit of satisfaction, but in a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This detachment, this acceptance, is not a passive state. It's a dynamic process, a constant negotiation between demand of the will and the pursuit of inner peace. It requires ongoing practice, consistent self-reflection, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths about our own nature. In the following sections, we will explore specific practices and techniques to cultivate this detachment and acceptance, moving toward a more fulfilling life, less driven by the insatiable will and more guided by a deeper sense of purpose. In our relentlessly connected world, solitude can feel like a luxury, a relic of a bygone era. Yet, it's precisely this often overlooked state that offers a crucial refuge from the constant demands of societal pressures and the insatiable will. Solitude provides the space necessary for genuine introspection, for deep engagement with our inner lives, and for the cultivation of intellectual pursuits that nourish the soul. Think of solitude as a sanctuary, a place where we can disconnect from the superficiality of the external world and reconnect with our inner selves. It's within this space of quiet contemplation that we can truly understand the influence of the will, observe its patterns, and develop strategies for managing its relentless demands. Solitude allows us to step back from the ceaseless striving, to gain perspective on our desires, and to cultivate a sense of peace amidst the chaos. The benefits of solitude extend beyond mere respite. It fosters intellectual growth and creativity. Free from the distractions of the external world, we can dedicate ourselves to intellectual pursuits, engaging in deep thinking, reading, writing, or creative endeavors. It's in these moments of quiet contemplation that new ideas emerge, insights are gained, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world unfolds. This is not about retreating from the world entirely. It's about creating a balance between engagement and detachment. It's about intentionally carving out time for solitude, creating a space for introspection and intellectual exploration, and returning to the world refreshed, with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. Solitude, then, is not an escape from life, but a vital tool for navigating its complexities, for managing the relentless demands of will, and for cultivating a richer, more meaningful existence. In our next segment, we'll explore the role of aesthetics in mitigating the influence of the will and finding moments of respite from the relentless demands of modern life. The relentless pursuit of the will often leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled, trapped in a cycle of desire and disappointment. But there's a powerful antidote to the superficiality, the realm of intellectual pursuits, art, philosophy, literature. These offer a refuge from the incessant demands of the will, a space where we can find meaning and purpose beyond the insatiable cravings of the self. Engaging with great works of art allows us to transcend the limitations of our own experience, to connect with the universal human condition, and to glimpse a reality beyond the confines of our individual desires. A moving piece of music, a powerful painting, a captivating novel, these can transport us to other worlds, allowing us to momentarily escape the relentless pressures of daily life and find solace in the beauty and depth of human expression. Philosophy, in particular, offers a framework for understanding the human condition, for grappling with existential questions, and for developing a more nuanced perspective on the nature of reality. By engaging with philosophical thought, we can gain a deeper understanding of the will, its limitations, and its impact on our lives. This understanding can provide a sense of clarity and purpose, helping us navigate the complexities of modern existence with greater equanimity. Literature, too, offers a powerful means of escape and self-discovery. Through the stories of others, we can explore different perspectives, confront our own biases, and gain a deeper understanding of the human experience. The rich tapestry of human emotions and experiences presented in literature can provide a sense of connection and belonging, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. These intellectual pursuits become sanctuaries, places where we can find meaning and purpose beyond the superficial desires that so often dominate our lives. This intellectual refuge, in turn, allows us to approach the world with greater clarity and compassion. Next, we'll discuss the importance of cultivating compassion in navigating the complexities of the modern world. Navigating modern society without compromising your intellectual integrity requires a strategic approach. It's not about withdrawing entirely. It's about engaging thoughtfully, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your personal values. This means recognizing that not all social interactions are equally valuable and choosing to invest your time and energy wisely. Consider your interactions as opportunities for discernment. Not every conversation, every social event, every professional obligation needs your full commitment. By carefully selecting where you invest your attention, you can conserve energy for activities that truly resonate with your values and intellectual pursuits. This is not about being aloof or antisocial. It's about prioritizing your well-being and maintaining a sense of self amidst the demands of the external world. Setting boundaries is crucial. Learn to say no to requests that drain your energy or compromise your values. This might involve declining invitations to events that feel superficial or unproductive, or refusing to participate in activities that go against your principles. Establishing these boundaries protects your mental and emotional space, ensuring that you have the energy and clarity to pursue your intellectual passions and maintain a strong sense of self. Prioritizing your personal values is paramount. Identify what truly matters to you: intellectual growth, creativity, meaningful connections, personal fulfillment, and align your actions with these values. This might involve seeking out intellectual communities, engaging in meaningful conversations, or pursuing creative projects that bring you joy and a sense of purpose. By prioritizing these values, you create a life that is authentically yours, a life that reflects your intellectual integrity and personal fulfillment. This strategic engagement allows you to participate in society while safeguarding your inner world and preserving your intellectual vitality. Our next segment will explore the importance of compassion in navigating a sometimes uncaring world. In a world increasingly driven by conformity and the pursuit of consensus, preserving intellectual integrity becomes a conscious act of rebellion. It requires a steadfast commitment to independent thought, a willingness to question assumptions, and a courageous embrace of critical thinking, even when it challenges prevailing narratives. This unwavering dedication to truth, however uncomfortable, is fundamental to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Maintaining intellectual honesty demands a rigorous self-examination of our beliefs. We must be willing to confront our biases, acknowledge our limitations, and revise our understanding in light of new evidence. This requires a humility that recognizes the fallibility of human knowledge and the ever-evolving nature of truth. It's a continuous process of refining our thinking, challenging our assumptions, and seeking a deeper understanding of the world around us. The pressure to conform can be immense. Societal expectations, peer pressure, and the desire for acceptance often lead individuals to suppress their independent thinking, to adopt beliefs that align with prevailing norms, even when they contradict their own judgment. This compromises intellectual integrity and ultimately leads to a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction. In contrast, cultivating independent thought allows us to form our own opinions, based on careful consideration of evidence and reasoned argument. It empowers us to resist the temptation to blindly accept prevailing narratives and to engage critically with the information we receive. This critical thinking is not about cynicism or negativity. It's about seeking truth and understanding, even when it leads to uncomfortable conclusions. Preserving intellectual integrity is not merely an intellectual exercise. It's a moral imperative. It's a commitment to truth, a dedication to reason, and a refusal to compromise our values in the face of societal pressure. This commitment, cultivated through rigorous self-reflection and a courageous embrace of independent thought, is a foundation for a life of genuine meaning and lasting fulfillment. In our next segment, we will explore the role of compassion in navigating the complexities of the modern world. The relentless pressure to conform to societal expectations often leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. We chase external validation, seeking approval and acceptance, yet true contentment lies not in conforming to the dictates of others, but in embracing our authentic selves and pursuing intellectual fulfillment. This path, while less traveled, leads to a deeper and more lasting sense of peace. Self-acceptance is the cornerstone of this journey. It's about acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, embracing our individuality, and recognizing that our worth is not determined by external validation. This acceptance allows us to move beyond the need for constant approval and to find contentment in our own unique qualities and accomplishments. It's a freeing process, releasing us from the shackles of societal expectations and allowing us to pursue our passions without the burden of external judgment. Intellectual pursuits offer a powerful avenue for self-discovery and fulfillment. Engaging with art, literature, philosophy, and science allows us to explore our deepest thoughts and feelings, to grapple with existential questions, and to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This intellectual exploration nourishes the soul, providing a sense of purpose and meaning that transcends the superficiality of material pursuits. The pursuit of intellectual fulfillment is not a solitary endeavor. It's a journey of continuous learning and growth. It involves engaging in meaningful conversations, seeking out intellectual communities, and embracing lifelong learning. This constant exploration keeps our minds sharp, our spirits engaged, and our lives rich with purpose. By pursuing intellectual fulfillment, we find contentment not in conformity, but in the unwavering pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and self-discovery. This path, while challenging, leads to a profound and lasting sense of peace and fulfillment. In our next segment, we'll discuss the importance of cultivating compassion in our interactions with others. Success, as defined by societal norms, often equates to fitting in, accumulating wealth, and achieving external validation. But true success lies not in conformity, but in navigating society with clarity, preserving one's intellectual integrity, and living a life aligned with personal values. This redefinition requires a shift in perspective, a conscious rejection of superficial measures of achievement, and a commitment to a more authentic and fulfilling path. This authentic path begins with self-awareness. Understanding your values, your strengths, and your limitations is crucial for making choices that align with your intellectual integrity. It involves identifying what truly matters to you beyond the pressures of societal expectations and prioritizing those things in your life. This self-awareness empowers you to make conscious decisions rather than being swept along by the currents of popular opinion. Practical strategies for achieving this reframed success include cultivating meaningful relationships, prioritizing intellectual pursuits, and setting clear boundaries. Meaningful relationships are those built on mutual respect, shared values, and intellectual stimulation. These connections provide support and understanding, reinforcing your commitment to your own path. Prioritizing intellectual pursuits, reading, writing, learning, engaging in meaningful discussions, nourishes the mind and strengthens your sense of self. Setting clear boundaries protect your time and energy, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Furthermore, cultivating resilience is essential. The path to authentic success often involves facing criticism, encountering obstacles, and navigating moments of doubt. Resilience allows you to persevere despite challenges, remaining steadfast in your commitment to your values and intellectual integrity. This resilience is not about ignoring setbacks. It's about learning from them, adapting to change, and continuing to move forward. By embracing this redefined notion of success, you embark on a journey of self-discovery and fulfillment, guided by your own values and intellectual integrity. In our next segment, we will discuss the importance of nurturing compassion. Embracing the Schopenhauerian path in modern society isn't about retreating from the world. It's about engaging with it thoughtfully. It's about recognizing the inherent suffering that arises from insatiable will and strategically mitigating its influence on our lives. This involves cultivating self-awareness, understanding our motivations, and setting boundaries to protect our mental and emotional well-being. We've explored the importance of intellectual integrity, the pursuit of genuine contentment, and the redefinition of success. These are not merely abstract philosophical concepts. They are practical tools for navigating the complexities of modern life. By prioritizing personal values, cultivating independent thought, and engaging in meaningful pursuits, we can create lives that are both intellectually stimulating and profoundly fulfilling. The key takeaway is this. While Schopenhauer acknowledged the inherent suffering of existence, he also pointed toward paths to mitigate that suffering. This isn't about eliminating suffering entirely, a task deemed impossible by Schopenhauer, but about finding peace and meaning within the context of a world characterized by impermanence and dissatisfaction. This involves accepting the limitations of the will, cultivating detachment from insatiable desires, and finding solace in intellectual pursuits, meaningful relationships, and moments of solitude. It's about finding a balance between engagement and detachment, between action and contemplation. It's about creating a life that resonates with your authentic self, a life lived with intention and purpose, even amidst the inevitable challenges of existence. This is the essence of the Schopenhauerian path, a journey toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life, not by escaping suffering, but by understanding it and navigating it with wisdom and grace. Our final segment will offer a concluding reflection on purpose. The journey of applying Schopenhauer's philosophy to modern life is not one of despair, but of empowerment. It is a path toward a more fulfilling existence, one characterized by intellectual integrity, mindful engagement, and a deep understanding of the human condition. While acknowledging the inherent suffering that arises from the insatiable will, we find agency in our ability to shape our responses, to cultivate inner peace, and to pursue lives of purpose. This journey requires courage. It demands a willingness to question societal norms, to challenge prevailing narratives, and to prioritize personal values above external validation. It's about resisting the relentless pressure to conform and embracing the beauty of individuality. However, this is not a path of isolation. It is a path of mindful engagement with the world, built on genuine connections and shared intellectual pursuits. The pursuit of intellectual fulfillment, the cultivation of meaningful relationships, and the practice of self-reflection are not merely distractions from life's inherent challenges. They are essential components of a life well lived. They provide meaning, purpose, and a sense of inner peace that transcends the superficialities of worldly success. By accepting the limitations of the will, we liberate ourselves from the endless pursuit of unattainable desires, freeing ourselves to find contentment in the present moment. Ultimately, the Schopenhauerian path offers a hopeful message. A life of purpose is not only possible, but attainable. It is a life lived with intention, guided by intellectual integrity, and enriched by the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and meaningful connections. It is a life where the challenges of existence are not ignored, but met with wisdom, resilience, and a profound sense of self-acceptance. Embrace this path and discover profound fulfillment that awaits you.